And we are live. Happy Monday, the 4th of December, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this live stream, or if you're not watching this live, thank you for clicking this video. I hope all of you guys are having a nice day, and I hope you enjoy my new background, which is going to be the case now that it is December. I hope it's not too off-putting. I can see that it's sparkling for some reason, even though it's not doing that in the room. So I don't know what's going on, but anyway, we have a lot to discuss today. A lot of Palantir news has come out over the weekend. I try not to be so active at the weekend. If I have a video that comes out on Saturday or Sunday, I try and pre-film it just so I'm not glued to my computer at the weekend. But it just seems that everything happened to do with Palantir this weekend. So we're going to cover it over the next few days of the live streams and of videos. But today we're going to talk about two main important things that have happened, my take on them. You guys give me your take on them. And then we'll, of course, look at that. There's one more fun thing, actually, that I'm going to throw in here. And then, of course, we'll look at what Palantir stock is doing pre-market, and we'll jump over to the live chat as well. So the first thing to say, and I can see a couple of comments about this already, is that we learned that Palantir are not yet being included in the S&P 500 index. Now, a lot of people obviously were preempting that Palantir would be included in the S&P 500 because they are eligible. However, we learned that this time around, they have not been chosen to be included. This is not worrying. Don't worry about this. This does not mean that they are not going to be included. So basically what happens is the S&P 500 goes through quarterly rebalancing. During this time, any companies that are no longer meeting the eligibility criteria can basically be removed from the S&P 500, and then companies that are now meeting the criteria, like we know Palantir are, can then be added to the S&P. So it's a constant case of rebalancing at quarterly intervals so that we have a collection of companies that best represent the US economy. We know that Palantir have had those consecutive quarters of GAAP profitability, and they meet the criteria to be included in the S&P 500. We know that they're ready. We were hoping, I guess, as a Palantir community, that they would be included this time around. That doesn't seem to happen, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be included. So the way it works, like I said, is there's four quarterly reviews of which companies are going to be removed from the S&P and which are going to be included. This time around, the three companies that have been included are called Builders First Source, ticker symbol BLDR. I've never heard of this company. I don't know if you have. Uber, ticker symbol UBER, which is, of course, a massive, massive company. And I'm very, very sure we have all heard of Uber. And then the third company, again, I haven't heard of them. I think it's pronounced Jabil, ticker symbol JBL. So those are the three companies that are joining the S&P 500 this time around. So then we have to ask ourselves, okay, well, when will Palantir be able to join? The rebalancing goes ahead on the third Friday of each month in March, June, September, and December. So what we are now looking at is next year. Obviously, when you say next year, it sounds like a long time away. Next year is not that long. So hopefully Palantir will be included as part of that March rebalancing. We're just going to have to wait and see. You may also wonder, okay, well, if they are eligible, why are they not added automatically? It doesn't really work like that. The S&P 500, obviously the 500 or so biggest US companies. There is a limit on how many companies can be included in the index. That means that if some get removed and there are certain spaces open, you can't then just add 15 eligible companies. It doesn't work like that. So it is based on eligibility criteria. And then once companies have met those eligibility criteria, a committee, a selection committee that are, specialists at this, not just random people, sit down and they decide which companies are going to be removed, and they evaluate and decide which companies are added. That's the case when multiple are eligible, like we've seen this time around. So again, try not to worry. It doesn't mean that Palantir are not being added. It's just a case of they are not being added right now. I think it's going to be next year, hopefully in the first half of next year. We're just going to have to wait and see. And of course, when they do get added, that's fantastic. That means institutional money and ownership will come flowing into Palantir. And actually, we are already seeing that Palantir are at their largest percentage of institutional ownership than they've ever been at before. So institutions are buying Palantir up in anticipation of it being added to the index. Very, very exciting. On top of that, we've had multiple interviews this weekend, honestly. We had the Reagan National Defense Forum happen on Saturday. Alex Karp spoke at that. We're not going to cover that too much in this live stream. We'll cover that in a separate video or on a live stream later on this week. But also, Palantir's CTO had a very, very, very good interview on CNBC. I thought the way that he constructed his opinions and his insights into Palantir were really, really clear. And I actually saw some comments that were basically saying, I wish he would speak about Palantir more than Alex Karp. So maybe people just think he's clearer and he's more understandable than maybe Alex Karp is. But if you haven't watched that interview, you really should. And I'm actually going to release a video later tonight summing up the most important takeaways from that, because he gave a lot of very, very good remarks and commentary and insight into where Palantir is going and what's currently happening at the company. So just to give you a very, very, overview level, he spoke about it. I mean, it was only like a 6-minute interview or something, but he covered so much. One thing that he was speaking about was Palantir's involvement in battlefield and war zones and conflict, and how Palantir have made it very clear that they support certain countries in these conflicts, how the demand is now shifting from hardware to software. In terms, we know that in the commercial sector, but he's also saying that that's happening in the defense sector as well. People are moving away from having the demand for hardware and moving to what pieces of software can we use to give us an advantage on the battlefield? Situational awareness abilities, decision-making abilities. What will actually give us that edge over our competitors? And it's not exactly the same, but we see a similar thing happen in the commercial sector. Businesses asking, what can we utilize in our business to actually allow us to utilize our data better so that we have the competitive advantage? So we're seeing that both in the government side of Palantir and the commercial side of Palantir as well. But one thing that they spoke about that I was particularly excited to hear was their go-to-market strategy for AIP Boot Camps, for AIP, and they are AIP Boot Camps. If you have no idea what I'm speaking about, at a very high level, Palantir have a platform called Artificial Intelligence Platform. This was released not that long ago at all, and they are scaling this and selling this by holding these AIP boot camps. AIP boot camps are a 0 to 5 day, often they only take like 9 hours, event that different people within businesses can attend. During this, they go to a place, the event place, and they spend time with Palantir, knowledgeable Palantir experts, employees, that basically teach them how they can use artificial intelligence platform in their business. So they walk away from these boot camps knowing a use case for AIP. That's really important, because what that does is that lowers the barrier to entry. It means that businesses that are perhaps knowing and feeling the pressure to use AI in their companies, but actually don't really understand what it means, what LLMs are, what ontologies are, how they can use it, they don't need to worry, because they go and they get taught how to use it at a very, very simple level. And they walk away having had hands on keyboards, having used it, And then they see the value. So with that information and that knowledge, they then go to the person in charge at their organization and they explain how much they need AIP in their business. So that's what they're doing. That's their go-to-market strategy. Now, when they first introduced this go-to-market strategy, we didn't really have much insight as to how confident they were in this, how many they were doing, what the end goal was. We didn't really know. We just knew that they were holding these AIP boot camps, reducing the barrier to entry. Great. As time's gone on, we have seen more and more. We see more and more insight into how good these really are, from reviews of people going to them, of Palantir employees speaking about them, etc., etc. So what the CTO said during this interview with CNBC was that they planned to do 140 of these boot camps in November, as in November just gone, right? They planned to do 140. That was already more than they did entire pilots in the previous year, okay? He then said they have completed 200 in November. So they planned for 140. They've already completed 200. And they are now on track to serve 325 organizations with boot camps for the year. So that is a massive, massive increase. That's a 42% increase as to what they planned and what they actually completed in the month of November. Now, what does this mean? Well, one, it means they're scaling. Palantir have been in this industry for a very long time. They've got years ahead of other companies in terms of what they do, and AI in particular. AI is obviously only actually getting popular now after ChatGPT, but they've been in this area for a long time. They have the competitive advantage already. But for a long time, they had good products, but they weren't able to scale them. They weren't able to sell them. They weren't able to push them into the market. That seems to be changing. And one way that they're doing that is with these go-to-market boot camps, AIP boot camps. So to see them actually grow these and the growth of AIP boot camps over time is really, really bullish in my opinion, because AIP is, I would say, the one area of Palantir that is most likely to grow them as a business the most. You can agree or disagree with that. So if they are doing more of these boot camps, that means that there is more of a demand for them, because they wouldn't be increasing the amount of them if there wasn't anyone to attend them, because ultimately they do have to pay in terms of putting resources in them, the event location and things like that. So it does cost them. So clearly there is an increase in the demand. People are getting very interested in AIP and in artificial intelligence, LLMs, machine learning, how all of that can be utilized in their business. So the go-to-market strategy seems to be working. Now, like I said, they've already completed 200. They are looking to close on 325, was it? Yeah, 25 for the year. They are already serving AIP to some really big names. I think I've actually got, let me just show you some of the companies that they are already serving. Here we go. Let me share my screen here. So here's just some customers that are already using AIP. You probably recognize some of these massive, massive companies. Cleveland Clinic, we know all about Cleveland Clinic and the work that Palantir have already been doing with them. But this is just pointing out that this is where they are right now. Imagine how many more companies are actually gonna want AIP. And in the future, we're going to see so many companies listed as AIP members. So I'm very, very excited to see the growth there as well. Now, I want to show you something quite interesting. That wasn't the only thing they spoke about, by the way, at this during this interview. But like I said, I'll make sure to cover all of this in a video coming out tonight. So this is also quite interesting. Let me share my screen again. Why is it not doing it? Aha, right, got it. Okay, so this article came out, which I thought was very interesting. It's basically ChatGPT predicting Palantir's stock price for 2024. So let me show you what it's predicting Palantir stock will be at in 2024, and let me know if you agree. I won't read all of this. You can read this if you want to, but this is the bit that's interesting. Hopefully you guys can see this. So Palantir's stock price in 2024 will range from $18 to $25. And this wide range reflects the uncertainty surrounding the company's future performance and the overall market conditions, added ChatGPT. The current stock value stands at $20.27. Obviously, that was at the time that this article was written. It's not far off that now, which we'll see in a minute. Not far from the predicted mean price of $22.40. However, if expected increase to $25 materializes, it would result in a gain of 23.3% for investors. Or a decrease to $18 would translate to a loss of 11.1%, 10%. So let's have a look here. So this is what ChatGPT is predicting. Obviously, please take this with a giant pinch of salt because it's just ChatGPT. The median price forecast is based on an average of estimates from various analysts. It represents a potential increase of 10.49% from the current price of around $20.28. So the median price forecast from ChatGPT for Palantir stock in 2024 is $22.40. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think that we will see Palantir stock at around $22.40 in 2024? The range of price forecasts go from $18, which of course we're above $18, so that would be a decrease from current point, to $25 a share in 2024. And then when asked about the underlying reasons for the predictions, this is what ChatGPT had to say. Palantir's revenue growth is expected to continue in 2024, driven by increased adoption for its software platforms. The company is still not profitable, but it is expected to narrow its losses in 2024 as it scales its business. It also expects to launch new products in 2024, which could boost revenue and improve its competitive position. Obviously, ChatGPT doesn't get everything accurate, and there are some flaws in its reasonings, of course. But yeah, let's make our own predictions. I don't tend to like to make predictions too much because just looking at the stock price is quite dangerous instead of actually focusing on the underlying company, which I prefer to do. But let me know. We'll jump over to the live chat in just a second. Let me know what you think about this, what your price predictions for Palantir stock is by the end of 2024. So basically a whole year from now. Where do you see this company trading? And then I just want to show you whilst we're on here, this is a new YouTube channel that I'm launching. It's called Stock Speak, and it's basically going to be a place where I give 6 to 10 minute videos, that sort of length, maybe twice a week on different stocks. So it's going to be an overview and an analysis, a high level analysis of different companies and different stocks. The reason I'm making this channel is because my current channel that you're watching this video on is very focused on Palantir, Tesla, and my portfolio. But I get a lot of comments asking me, can you cover Nvidia? Can you cover SoFi? Can you cover Neo? Like all these different companies that wouldn't fit on my main channel. So I've started this channel as a place to do that. If you want to subscribe, feel free. I've only got 23 subscribers right now. So early days, and I haven't posted yet, but a video will be coming very soon on that channel. If you want to suggest any stocks I look at and post about, put them in the live chat or the comments, and I will take note of them and make a video on them on this new channel. So now what I'm going to do is have a look at the live chat and see what you guys are saying. I've just noticed 128 of you are watching it. 133 of you are watching this right now. Wow, thank you. That actually blows my mind. I don't know if we've ever had that many people on a live stream before. I see some familiar names. Thank you for joining. Troy, no inclusion right now, but don't worry, it doesn't mean it's not coming. It's just a case of we have to wait until the next rebalancing is done, and hopefully Palantir will then be selected to join the S&P 500. It's not as straightforward as meeting the criteria and then just getting added in. It goes through a committee, a selection committee, if you will, when there's more eligible companies that can actually join in one go. So don't worry, it's coming. It's just a matter of when. Good morning from Taiwan. Thank you for joining. Sir Lalington is joining us from Mars today on his Cybertruck, I'm sure. Where am I? I am here, Terry. I'm based in the UK. Maybe I was a minute late. Is that why? Perhaps. Hello. How Christmassy. Thank you. I do like it. I hope it's not too distracting. I think it's quite pretty. Good afternoon, Mickey. Thanks for joining. They will get in eventually. Yeah, they're eligible. They've met the criteria. We just have to wait now. It's just a waiting game. And actually, this could be a blessing in disguise, because when a company gets included into an index like the S&P, which is obviously absolutely massive, that adds a lot of money into Palantir as a stock, because companies obviously then have to buy Palantir to include in their funds, their own funds. So by Palantir not yet getting included, that could just be a chance for us retail investors to buy more at current prices. Speculation purely. I cannot say, as no one can say, that actually when it gets added, the stock price will go up to X amount, because we don't know that. But it could just be a good opportunity for us that it's not been added yet. Look on the bright side. But they will absolutely get added soon, I hope. Just got to wait. Midwest is in the house. Thank you for joining. From Australia as well. That's amazing. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that. Have you seen Amazon's Q suffering hallucinations? No, I have not. I have heard that Amazon have released a potential competitor to Palantir's AIP. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do lots of research on it, and I'm going to produce an entire video on Amazon's product and whether I see it as a direct competitor and what I think that means for Palantir moving forward. So watch out for that video. I will do it. I just want to make sure I am researching fully before producing a video. But if anyone has already looked into this and has some ideas about how this could be a competitor for Palantir, let us know in the live chat, and I'll pop the comment up and we can show that. We obviously have very similar minds here. Yeah, in a way it is good. It gives us a chance as retail investors to buy more Palantir shares. Let's actually have a look what Palantir stock is doing right now, pre-market. Here we go. So refresh that. Okay. So pre-market, it looks like it's down by about 1% to $20.06. So it's really holding itself up on this $20 resistance level, which is something that it hasn't really done very well in previous months. So this is very, very exciting. Zoom out to year to date. I still can't believe it. It's 217% year to date. That is insane. Do people think that we're going to get a pullback soon, or do we expect to continue to see the price increase? I don't know how high it can go without us actually seeing further growth within the company in terms of like revenue and stuff. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, but it's doing incredible. And I must say it's very, very nice to see this in my portfolio. But of course, you have to detach yourself from those emotions, good or bad. Good or bad. Does anyone in here have more than 5,000 shares of Palantir? I personally do not. I wish I did, but we do have people that do. Not a fan of Uber and their practices. It's a shame that they've been added to my favorite fund, but I'm sure Uber will soon be removed for not continuing to meet the eligibility criteria. Remember, though, that even if they are added, they've been added to the S&P 500, it won't be that they're in such a massive quantity that you're getting large exposure, if that makes sense. So, I mean, there's many companies in the S&P 500 that I would never pick to invest in individually, loads and loads and loads. But I still have an S&P 500 ETF because of many reasons that we don't need to get into in this live. But yeah, even if it's not your favorite company, it could be removed. You're right. We'll see. Thank you for joining the live stream. I appreciate you being here. As it stands, I have 0 in Palantir, but I'm pretty tempted. I'm not here to convince you to purchase Palantir. It's got to be your decision based on your research and your risk levels and everything like that. But there's many reasons that a lot of people in here think Palantir is going to do very, very well as a company and as a stock over the next 5, 10, 15 years. One reason, I guess, that I can give you is I see how much potential they have in changing industries and their total addressable market in terms of they can work with the finance sector, the healthcare sector, like anywhere. That means that their addressable market is pretty infinite on the commercial side. And then they're diversifying themselves because they have their government side. So I don't want this video to just become me talking about why I like Palantir, but I think that they are one of the most interesting companies right now to be researching and a company that I have very, very strong conviction for moving forward. But yeah, just keep asking questions, come and chat to us on the Discord and people will share their opinions, I'm sure, as to why they're particularly bullish on this. Yes. Yeah. He did an interview Friday on CNBC. Very, very good. I'll cover it in tonight's video, but definitely watch it. When's it going to hit $50 a share? We don't know. That's the beauty of it. We have no idea. We have no idea. You just got to decide whether you want to hold this company for the long term. And then when it happens, it happens. And there will be stock splits and everything in between, I imagine. Well, not in between 50, but, in the next 10 years, how many stock splits will there be? Oh, an article. Okay. Let me have a look, Johnny. I don't think I did. Is it this one? Let me share my screen. Johnny, let me know. Is it this one you're referencing? Yeah. Okay, cool. No, I haven't seen this at all. It is a paid article though, so it might not, it looks like it's going to let me. Let's have a quick look, but I have not seen this, so no idea yet. Amazon's Q has severe hallucinations and leaks confidential data in public preview. Oh, okay. So some hallucinations could potentially induce cardiac incidents in legal. Okay, let's just keep reading. 3 days after Amazon announced its AI chatbot Q, if you're not aware, Amazon released a new product called Q. It's an AI chatbot, and people are thinking that it might be a competitor to Palantir's AIP. Some employees are sounding alarms about accuracy and privacy issues. Isn't one of the reasons that one of the ways that they're like selling this, they're using the idea of privacy as to why this is needed? I could be wrong there. I haven't done too much research. Q is experiencing severe hallucinations and leaking confidential data, including the location of AWS data centers, internal discount programs, and unreleased features, according to leaked documents obtained by Platformer. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. That's not good. You can't say that you have these high levels of data privacy and security and you care about this, and then something like this happens. It's not a good look, but I don't know if this is actually true. An employee marked the incident as SEV2. I guess that means severe level 2, meaning an incident bad enough to warrant paging engineers at night and make them work through the weekend to fix it. Okay. Q's early woes came at a time when Amazon is working to fight the perception that Microsoft, Google, and other tech companies have surpassed it in the race to build tools and infrastructure that take advantage of generative artificial intelligence. That's the thing, isn't it? There is this massive push at the moment to release something, anything to do with AI, because that's what's getting attention. So I do worry, I'm not saying this is the case with Amazon, but I do worry a lot of companies are just pushing something out there as soon as they can get it out there to ride the wave of AI being popular and trendy, and not actually, not actually doing their proper development things. Thank you, Johnny. I'll have a look after this live. I've got too many tabs open right now. Let's just quickly read on a little bit. In September, the company announced it would invest $4 million in an AI startup on Tuesday at its annual Amazon Web Service Developer Conference. It announced Q, arguably the highest profile release in a series of new AI initiatives that the company unveiled this week. Okay, that sounds very interesting. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a video together about Amazon's new product called Q. I want to know exactly what it does, whether it is actually a competitor to AIP, because at the end of the day, the AI industry is going to be massive. There's going to be so much room for more than one company. So I don't think it's going to be taking massive market share off Palantir. The only thing I worry about when a company like Amazon or Google or massive companies release a product that could be similar to something that Palantir has is just that they have the money and the reach to get out quickly. They have the customers in place. It's a household name. They have the funds to push it. That's the only concern I have. But yeah, let me put my thoughts together in a proper video so I can make sure I'm covering all bases. Good afternoon, Garcia. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I actually have a sprout on my Christmas tree. You can't see it, but one of the tree decorations this year is a sprout with a Christmas hat. $39 per share by January 2020. Oh, I thought you were making a prediction then. I was going to say 2021. We've been there and done that. That's when you were maybe purchasing. They have to monetize. If they start doing that, the share price will boom. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how they go about monetizing AIP. It's going to be very interesting. When will they do it though? I don't know. They're just getting their customers in, aren't they? And then at some point they're going to switch it on. Thank you, Bem96, for subscribing to the new channel. Appreciate that. Got people from all around the world here. Tunbridge Wales in the UK, Canada. Did Tesla go up when it got included? Yes. So Tesla got included. Let's have a look what the date was. Tesla entered the S&P 500 on December the 23rd. Oh yeah, so Tesla got added to SP500 December the 21st, 2020. So now let's have a look at the Tesla stock. What happened at that time? Well, we all know what happened to Tesla after 2020. So yeah, it absolutely did. It's hard to say that that's the exact reason because so many factors will come into play. It wasn't just they got added, the stock price went crazy. But yeah, typically what you see is the stock price go up initially anyway. It might then come back down a little bit and rebalance itself, but definitely initially. Yeah, lots of people are saying that Tesla went crazy when it got added. 100%. Thank you. From Queensland, Australia. Amazing. Q is a poor substitute. Again, I can't really comment that much because I just haven't put in the time to research this at the moment. It's on my to-do list for today, so a video will come out soon. I'd love a pullback to the mid-teens range. The only problem I foresee is the additional recruitment needed for growth to happen. In terms of how many people work for Palantir, it's really quite a small amount right now. So they're definitely going to be expanding. They're going to be recruiting more talent. I think this was Alex Carpacci that said this, that some people just don't want to work with Palantir because they are quite a bold company in their beliefs and in their, who they're going to support, who they're working with. But equally, some of the best talent want to work at Palantir. Going off a bit of a tangent here, but yeah, absolutely. Recruitment is going to be needed for the growth to happen. I don't really see that as a problem though. We want Palantir to be growing. Will we get a pullback to the mid-teens range? Possibly. I think it's possible. When? If? No idea. But anything's possible, really. The danger that we have is saying that we're going to wait until a certain price to invest. Because if that price never comes, we miss our opportunity. That's why I just prefer to add small and often, and then have money on the side to add more if something like this does happen. I think we'll see Palantir at $25 no later than the Q1 2024 results call. So the earnings call happening in Q1 2024. You think that Palantir will be at $25 a share. Again, very, very possible. Paul, are you saying you have 28,000 shares? That is insane if that's the case. Laurie, 8,500, again, insane. Terry, I wish I held that as well. We're going to start wrapping this up soon. So if you've got any last minute questions or comments, please leave them now. Just tuning in, Zach, why did we not get included? We've met the eligibility criteria. We just didn't get selected this time around. 3 other companies got added. It goes through a committee and it just wasn't our time. So hopefully 2024, early 24, we'll get added. But it's not a case that we're not eligible or we're not good enough or anything like that. It's just, we need to just wait for the time now. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm very behind on my comments here. Thank you. I'm getting into the festive spirit. Midwest, that doesn't sound like the most fun Monday, but thank you for putting me on in the background. Oh, thank you, Johnny. There's an article in The Guardian by Martha Gill that states that the benefits of, is this the article? I think I've seen this article. I think I've seen it. I have been focusing on the article from The Guardian where they speak about that there might be lawsuits from 4 organizations, including Foxglove, against against the FDP. Yeah, interesting. We'll see what happens there. But you're right, Johnny. We don't see enough positive information about Palantir by the British media, and it's really sad. And I hope that changes over time as the British public get more trust in the FDP and in Palantir. Because we've had times in the past where campaigns have been run like the care.data program. That completely ruined trust. So a lot of people are very skeptical over here, and not a lot of people are doing their research, unfortunately. Absolutely DCA for the win. I kind of have DCA plus strategic addition when a price drops. Currently have 0 Palantir shares. Just keep researching. Don't feel pressured to buy now. Don't feel FOMO. Just take your time, do your research and ask lots of questions. At the end of the day, it's your money, and you don't want to be putting a substantial amount of money for you into a company that you don't have the conviction for as an individual holding. So yeah, ask questions, do your research, and don't feel that you need to do it right now. There's a lot of pressure. You feel a lot of pressure when you're looking at a new company to get in like now, otherwise it's going to go to the moon. It pulls back, it goes up, don't worry. We are in early days for Palantir. They only became public like so recently. It's still an early company. So if you get in, if you discover that it's a company that you do want in your portfolio, whether you get in today, next week, in a month, in a year, it's still early days. Thank you, Susan. Have a nice week yourself. Thank you, Kendrick. Appreciate that. 6,880 shares. Incredible. Very, very jealous. Right, we're going to start rounding this up now because it is 1:45. Do you Americans say that, or would you say 1:45? 1:45? I don't know if you guys say that. And I know a lot of people that watch these live streams are American. Cool. Right. As I said, we have got a video coming out later today. Please keep your eyes out for that one. I think it will be interesting. I'd love to know what you think about everything that the CTO covered in that interview. So comment on that video later today. Like Mickey says, check out my second channel, Stock Speak, if you're interested. That's going to be a place for me to talk about other stocks other than Tesla and Palantir. Thank you for coming to these live streams. I always appreciate all you guys' support. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'll see some of you in the comment section of the video coming out later, and if not, in the live stream tomorrow. Thanks again for joining me, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.